Your boy is back once again. Thank you for stopping by to Ravens Online on Gatekeeper for another edition of Baltimore Ravens Preview Week 7. This week, we take on the Cleveland Browns at M&T Bank Stadium. This should be a good game, but it's also the battle of attrition. With both teams suffering from injuries, who knows what to expect? As you know, last week, the Ravens suffered a loss versus the New York Giants, which was totally unexpected. Lamar Jackson did not have a good game. So, hey, what can you say? Everybody needs to calm down. It happens to all of them. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception at the end of the game against the Buffalo Bills. So it happens to the best of them. Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't look good. And what seems to be the difference between Aaron Rodgers before and Aaron Rodgers now? His receiving core. So we as Baltimore Ravens fans, we know all about that. Now let's jump into the game. So this week we've had some injuries from the last game. I don't know if people really realize what's going on, but we have Pat Ricard. He's missed 2 days of practice. J.K. Dobbins has missed 2 days of practice. And most importantly, Mark Andrews has missed the last 2 days of practice with a knee injury or knee problem, shall I say. Ricard, we don't really need a fullback. I'm not worried about that. With J.K., hopefully Drake can fill that void that he left by. He looked good last week. He had 10 rushes for 119 yards and a touchdown. The line gave him big holes. He ran hard. So that may circumvent us not having JK in the game. But with Andrews, the options are very limited. We have Isaiah Likely and we have Josh Oliver to take his place. Those two combined can't sniff Andrews' jockstrap. I'm just being honest. So if Andrews can't play, this is going to be a heavy burden on us as a team. Now, Rashad Bateman looks to be closer to returning. Who knows? We need him. If we don't have him, now we really get to see what these guys can do. You've asked for it all offseason, and this will be the time that we find out if these guys can really play. Now, on the defensive side, Justin Houston, he may possibly return as well. We sorely miss him because, listen, even though Justin Houston wasn't getting sacks, he was getting pressures, and we're not getting much without him. Now, on some offensive line news, we have Morgan Moses, who went out last week with a heel injury. That damn Giant Stadium, Jet Stadium, whoever stadium it is, that turf is just horrible. He suffered an injury. He may return. He's trying to come back. We won't find out possibly till about Sunday morning, I'm guessing. Also, Ben Cleveland is back. I don't know if he's going to play this year, but he's available just in case. So when Baltimore has the ball, it's going to be a time. We need Lamar to stop playing hero ball, even though it's mostly necessary for us to win the games because we don't really have much outside of Lamar. He is the only star that we have. If he doesn't play well, we don't win. If he does, we dominate. So we need Lamar to get it together. We need these receivers to get some separation. There was a stat out there last week showing that we by far have some of the least separation from our wide receivers over anyone else in the NFL. And this is not helping our cause, especially since Greg Roman does not like to run the ball even when it's working. Now, defensively, the Cleveland Browns pose somewhat of an obstacle. This will be a test, a real test for our offensive line. This, for me, is a barometer game. I've been waiting to get a somewhat healthy team together to play just to see how good we really are. Now, we've done well in some games. We've done bad in others. We've had good run block in one game, good pass block in the next. We can never really combine the two in one game. And in this one, we'll see where we stand as a team going forward. Now, for the injuries for the Cleveland Browns, right guard Wyatt Teller, he is likely to miss the game, and that's going to be a heavy hit for them because they are a run-dominant team, especially with Jacoby Brissett quarterback in this team. So they're going to run, and they're going to test our defense. Now, you thought that the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets had some success against us. This is going to be something with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the ball. It might be a long day. So we cannot let Cleveland get a lead on us, or else they may run the clock out. Now, aside from those two running backs, they do have Amari Cooper as pretty much their only wide receiver that kind of concerns people that they have to game plan against, but they do have Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Much of this game is going to be determined on which Jacoby Brissett you get. Are you going to get the one that's actually playing well at the beginning of the season, or the one that just makes silly turnovers when he throws the guy sitting directly in front of him? Like, I don't know what's wrong with this dude, but apparently he's just not a good quarterback. But he, to me, might be the key to this game. Like I said before, this defense is going to show us how good we are as a team. Their defense starts and ends with Myles Garrett, but unfortunately, a few weeks back, he was in a car accident and he's been injured. Now he's nursing a shoulder injury, but he said, hey, it's Ravens week, so he's definitely going to play. And I believe him. Hopefully, he is not as effective as he normally is versus us, but I'm sure he's better than what else they have behind him. Now, on the other side, Jadeveon Clowney should be returning. He missed last week's game. He should also give them some pass rush, and he can also stop the run. He's not the dude that we thought he was going to be, but he's still better than most of the guys that we faced this season. Linebacker Deion Jones, who they just acquired from the Atlanta Falcons, is possibly set to make his debut. Greedy Williams is back. I know that dude he was born injured and he stays injured since he's been in the NFL. But when he does play, he's an effective cornerback. Now, speaking of cornerbacks, they have Denzel Ward, who is in concussion protocol. It would be a big help to us if he does not play, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to do everything that he can to get into the game. When Cleveland has the ball, we need Travis Jones to do his thing. We need him and Calais Campbell and Matabike to fill those gaps and stop. Because listen, Nick Chubb is a quiet superstar. He doesn't talk, he doesn't boast, brag, or do any of those things, but he is one of the best backs in the NFL, and he can make anybody look silly. He can take it to the house on any carry, and we need to stop that. Now, I know that Amari Cooper may be the only concern on as a wide receiver, like I said, but they do have Donovan Peoples-Jones and David Njoku, who to me should have been a superstar. He looks the part, but he just hasn't lived up to expectations. But as we saw last week with the New York Giants, they didn't really have anything at wide receiver, but they still did enough to win the game. So we need our cornerbacks to be on their P's and Q's and kind of not lollygag and just take them for granted. Now, Jacoby Brissett, I said he was bad, but he can get hot. And if we shut him down, we can possibly win this game. All right, my man Weez missed last week, but hey, he's back to give you more betting props on the Baltimore Ravens to win you guys some money. Take it away.
Yes, Ravens flock, it's your man, D-Weezy from Backyard Action Media, here to pass on a little more sports betting knowledge, as the goal of Backyard Action Media is not only to give you winning bets, it's to try and teach you how to find winning bets in the process. We're not just here to give you a fish, we're here to try and teach you to fish along the way. So let's look into this Cleveland Browns Baltimore Ravens matchup. Now we see the Ravens come in favorites -6.5, and in this game, I think the rushing attack of the Cleveland Browns against the rush defense of the Ravens will be crucial in this game. If the Ravens are unable to shut down the Browns in the run game, I feel it will be very unlikely that the Ravens are able to walk away with the victory in this game. Now, I will be playing a same game parlay where the Cleveland Browns will score over their team-point total of 19.5, as well as covering on the spread, meaning they will lose by less than 7 points or win outright. As I said, if the Ravens are unable to shut down the rushing attack of the Cleveland Browns, it can be a very long day for the Ravens. Now, another angle to look at in this game, we see two teams that rely heavily on the run, and one area that this can affect is the game total. Two teams that run the ball more means that the clock is likely to burn off faster, meaning there's less opportunity for plays overall in the game. There are less scoring opportunities. It traditionally means that the teams will move the ball downfield in a more methodical nature, thus meaning the under in a game total can become more likely. In this matchup, I think that is a possibility. We see two teams that want to run the ball. They want to rely on the run game. And this is a recipe that could definitely have the game total come in under 45.5. Now, folks, y'all have heard me talk about it before. Mark Andrews reception prop. It'd be unlikely that you can find this number at 4.5. I would not be shocked if we see this number come out at 5.5. Me personally, if you can find it at 5.5, there may still be value at playing the over, but anything beyond that, I think the likelihood of that coming in is not obtainable. I don't think 6.5 or 7.5 is a number that we can expect Mark Andrews to cover on a regular basis. Would he potentially get the targets in a game to cover this number? Absolutely. But ultimately, I think trying to play a prop where Mark Andrews would have more than 6.5 receptions, I think is a recipe that wouldn't work out. Now, folks, if you want even more sports betting content, you can sign up at my Patreon, patreon.com/BAM News. You can also catch me on LBHT on their live Wednesday show for Lunch Money Bets. Now, most importantly of all, everybody take care out there.
All right, thanks, bro. See you again next week. And like I said, if you want my man's expert opinions, hop on over to Backyard Action Media. Check him out. Sign up for his Patreon, BAM News. Get that sports information. Get them betting props. Win yourself some money because he's been on a little hot streak lately. Like I said before, the NBA is just starting. And I don't know about football, but I know when it comes to basketball, he is on point. All right, now let's hop into the rest of this action for the rest of Week 7 NFL. On Thursday night, we have the New Orleans Saints visiting the Arizona Cardinals in a humdinger of a game. Don't know who's going to start for New Orleans. They didn't give an injury designation to Jameis Winston, but I'm pretty sure they may start Andy Dalton. On Arizona side, Hollywood Brown has a foot injury, so he's going to be out. But the good news is DeAndre Hopkins is back. This should be a non-exciting game. But since it's Thursday night, I never go against the home team, so I'm going with Arizona, even though I got let down last week. All right, to start the 1 o'clock slate of Sunday games, we have the Atlanta Falcons visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. Oof. Cincinnati did a thing last week. They beat the San Francisco 49ers. Cincinnati Bengals, I think they're still struggling to find their identity, but I really, honestly, truly do not believe in Marcus Mariota. First, you can say what you want to say, but that dude is just not a good quarterback to me. He's capable of winning some games, but I don't think that he can carry them for a full season. I think Cincinnati gets back on track and wins this game. Now, normally I'm excited, but we have the Cleveland Browns visiting the Baltimore Ravens at the bank. I see a bunch of running. I see a bunch of run games and hopefully some defense played by us. Now, like I said, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they are special. They have 2 starting running backs on their team, and they have a very good offensive line. Wyatt Teller's out. That may hinder them a little bit, but I still think they'll be able to run the ball. It all depends on Lamar and what he can do with these wide receivers to me. I think Kenyon Drake, he may have a good game. I don't think it's going to be as good as last week because defense for Cleveland is a lot better than the Giants. But I still think that Baltimore pulls this victory out late. All right, next up is my upset special. We have the Detroit Lions visiting the Dallas Cowboys. They're not on prime time for once, so I'm a happy camper because I don't have to see this fool of a team make a mockery of themselves. I know they've been doing well. Don't know if Dak is coming back. Ezekiel Elliott, all that money, he is not their best running back. Tony Pollard is. Now, the Detroit Lions, I'm not sure if Jared Goff is that dude, but I do like Dan Campbell, and I do think that he motivates that team, and I don't think he's going to let them lose another game right now. They're going to lose plenty later on, but I think that this game they're going to take over, and Detroit's going to win in my upset special. Next up, we have the just what the doctor ordered game. We have the Green Bay Packers visiting the Washington Commanders, and I don't believe anything about Washington. I don't believe anything in DC. I just don't believe. I think Aaron Rodgers has a bounce back game, even though his wide receivers are not up to par. That defense is still good. I think they need to run Aaron Jones just a little bit more, and I think they'll do that during this game, and they'll win this game handily. An intriguing matchup. We have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, Indianapolis, you don't know what you're going to get with this team. Sometimes you think they're going to win and they lose. Sometimes you think they're going to lose and they win. Now, I don't know what's going on with Jonathan Taylor, if he's actually going to be back this week. I got a notification. I didn't read it, but hopefully he plays because he's on my fantasy team and he's letting me down. But the Tennessee Titans have Ryan Tannehill, and that's just enough for me. So I'm going to go with Indianapolis to win this game. Now we have the surprising 5-1 New York Giants traveling down to Duval to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is this Cinderella magic going to continue? I know I've been sleeping on the Giants because they just don't have anything on offense other than Saquon Barkley. They have a no-name defense, but it's kept them in games, and as they proved last week, they can win with what they have. I think that Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars are actually on the uptick, and they're doing a lot better than people expected. But I do think that this Giants Cinderella run shall continue for another week. In our last 1 o'clock matchup, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Carolina Panthers. I want so badly for the Panthers to win. So badly. I mean, they're my cousin team, so they got to do better. Now, there are rumors that the talks are intensifying as in trading Christian McCaffrey. They already let Robbie Anderson go. Normal circumstances, I'd pick them to win this game because they got to win one sometime, don't they? I guess. But Tom Brady in that offense is going to be a little bit too much. Their defense is going to shut down whoever's quarterback in that team, be it Baker Mayfield, who's probably still hurt. I think Sam Darnold actually came back to practice. But PJ Walker, if he starts, it's going to be a slam dunk win by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, to start our slate of 4 o'clock games, we have the Houston Texans visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. What is there really to say about Houston? Bill O'Brien has messed his team up 5 ways from Sunday, and then they don't have Deshaun Watson to kind of mask some of the deficiencies that they have as a team all around. The Las Vegas Raiders, they've looked a lot better than they have, but they're still the Las Vegas Raiders. And Josh McDaniels, to me, is just not a very good coach. This one, I think I might need a coin to flip to choose the winner, but man, I don't have one available. I think I shall go with the Las Vegas Raiders. In another surprise New York, New Jersey team, we have the New York Jets. I told y'all they had something special brewing over there. They have former Raven Joe Douglas as their general manager, and he's making some great moves. Like, he's building a team for the future, but they're also winning now, even with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Now, the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, reports are coming out. His teammates really don't like him because he is somewhat of a tool. And I guess that karma's kind of catching up with him because his play on the field just isn't up to par. I'm pretty sure that the Broncos regret giving him $250 million because he is not playing like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Javonte Williams is hurt. They just really don't have that much to me. They have the wide receivers to get it done, but they don't have the quarterback to get them the ball. Even with that being said, though, I'm going with the New York Jets to continue their winning ways. Super Bowl rematch. We have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Now, these are not the same two teams that played in the Super Bowl several years ago, but Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. I know that San Francisco thought that they were going to have Trey Lance in the fold, which to me would have been a downgraded quarterback, even though Jimmy Garoppolo really isn't that dude. But they do have Kyle Shanahan, and he can scheme up an offense. With that being said, I'm still picking the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they have a bounce-back game from that loss to Buffalo last week, and Patrick Mahomes goes off for at least 4 touchdowns. Now, in our last 4 o'clock matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to L.A. to take on the Chargers. Now, I know Geno Smith might have heard everybody's rumblings. It's like, look, I'm going to prove y'all wrong. I have to admit, he's been doing his thing as of late. Rashad Penny got hurt, but Kenneth Walker's come in and filled in quite nicely. The Chargers, I just think that they're ailing right now. They're $82 million quarterback. They benched him. Joey Bosa's still hurt. but I thought that Khalil Mack and Derwin James would kind of make up for certain things. I'm not sure the health status of Justin Herbert. He says he's fine, but I don't know. This just doesn't look like the team that is explosive as they once were. Now, they pulled out that win versus Denver, and that's only because Russell Wilson was Wilsoning. So in this game, I think I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win in a squeaker. Sunday Night Football. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Now, the biggest question is Tua Tagovailoa going to play? In my personal opinion, I think he should not. With the brain injury that he suffered, I think he should sit out the season, or at least 3 or 4 more weeks, just to make sure that he's right. Now, I understand he's a competitor. They're gladiators. They always want to be on the field, but you need to look at long-term health. But with him in the fold, they are a better team. Pittsburgh in baby hands. He suffered a concussion last week and had to leave the game. So Tricky Mitch came in and led them to a victory that we were not expecting. But I think that Miami has too much with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I think their offense is a little bit too explosive. I don't know the status of Minkah Fitzpatrick. He kind of neutralizes some things, but he's been injured or he's been hurt and not playing up to his normal standards. I know Tomlin is Tomlin, and he's scratching and clawing not to have that losing season, but I still think that Miami pulls this victory out. Now, Monday Night Football. As Brodney said, the game that nobody asked for. We have the Chicago Bears traveling to New England to take on the Patriots. Justin Fields. I feel so sorry for that kid. I thought we had it bad at wide receiver, but what he has to work with, along with that offensive system, is terrible. Now, is some of it on him? I think it is, but even when he makes accurate pinpoint passes, the receivers drop him. They're not in the spots they're supposed to be. They just can't seem to get that separation. So they have to rely heavily on the run. Now, Bill Belichick, he likes to take away what you do best. They don't really do anything best, but I think that he's going to take away the run to kind of force them to pass the ball. Now, we don't know if Mac Jones is coming back this week, but if not, it's fine with me. I mean, I don't think he's really that good anyway. I think Zappy is a lot better than he is, and he was not a first-round pick. He's averaging more yards. The team looks a lot more explosive than they have with Mac Jones. So with that being said, I'm going to pick the New England Patriots to beat the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. And this ends another preview. I thank you for stopping by to look at week 7 in the NFL. The weeks are flying by. Come back later on Sunday for more Ravens news, post-game reports. Don't know who I'm going to have on, but I appreciate y'all. Until next time.